Hey, Life Uncloseted family, it is time once again for a Uncloseted Riff and Rant. Welcome to Friday, and I want to disrupt some stuff. Yeah, I really want to disrupt your thinking today, because to live outside of the closet, you have to disrupt things. You have to step out. You have to go against the grain. And I had a really interesting conversation in a coaching session, 2 coaching sessions actually over the last couple of days, where I realized what I was helping these clients do was really own that they are disrupting. They are disrupting their life. They are disrupting the status quo. They are disrupting their own perspective of what it means for them to go do the thing that they do. And the more I helped them understand this, the more I realized they really didn't want to believe that there was a norm, that there is no norm, that it doesn't exist. Now, that was simply their norm in their own mind, but they were going up against that norm, that belief of this is what I have to do to be norm, or normal, not norm like a guy's name, but norm, the norm, you know. One of my clients was like struggling around the norm of what it meant to be in his sexuality and how he could explore it. The other client was, what's the norm of what I'm trying to teach people and guide them through? And in this particular case, she's working with, she's working with leaders, disruptive leaders, which is where this kind of started to come up, to make sure they never, kind of tongue tied there, to make sure that they never settle for the norm, because if they start to settle for the norm, then it takes them away from the change, the thing they most wanted to do by being a disruptive leader. And all this got me thinking, because I do that a lot, obviously. Any of you who are listening to this, I think about this stuff. And it made me think of a formula. If you took disruptor plus no norm, what do you get? Disruptor plus no norm. So you don't see anything normal. What do you get? For me, as I thought through that, I thought, if I'm a disruptor and I don't see anything as normal, and I keep going and doing things that are outside of the norm, because that's my nature, it equals happiness. It equals fulfillment. It equals knowing why I'm here doing the thing I do on the planet. Now, that doesn't mean everything I do is disruptive and that I don't see anything as normal, because I know it's normal to go to sleep at night. I know it's normal to wake up and eat food, and in my case, to drink wine, lots of wine. As you know, I'm sitting here in my wine closet right now recording this. But what happens for you in those moments in your life where you realize you're disrupting your status quo and you're trying to not do the norm? What would you be able to do? What would be different in your life? There's lots of great examples of this. In fact, you don't have to look very far. In fact, if you think back to when the Wright brothers flew, they disrupted and didn't see staying on the ground as a norm. They didn't want that to be the norm. When Henry Ford created the wireless carriage, or horseless carriage, I got my decades of technology and stuff confused there. He was a disruptor, and he didn't want walking on foot or riding on horseback to be the norm any longer. He didn't see it as the norm. There is no norm. When Tom's shoes began to become popular, and for every pair of shoes that they sold, somebody got a pair of shoes, they disrupted. And they didn't just operate from the norm of, let's just make some money. Same thing with Bombas socks. And as you look around, there's all sorts of norms that are around us. Apple, they're a huge not norm. Disney, huge not norm. And I know in your own life, you're going to find these not norm things. But when you are up against the not norm and you're saying, I don't want this to be my normal, take that badge of the disruptor, wear it proudly. Don't be afraid, and ask yourself, by me being the disruptor and in this particular situation, I'm not going to settle for the norm. There is no norm. We're not even going to say there's a norm, because you're exploring something new when you're a disruptor. I want you to step forward and ask yourself, what would I do? How will I feel? What will I be when I let my disruptor not see any norm? what starts to happen in this situation? What I believe with all my heart, because I've been the guy who's a disruptor and not the norm. I continued to be the guy who's a disruptor and I don't play in the norm. Is I'm really happy and I'm really at peace and I have fun and I enjoy life. And even in the past couple of weeks, I have been disrupting some of my own bullshit and not playing in my norms. I've been pushed. Had some buttons definitely pushed in me and some thoughts and some people and some things with work and all that. And I have not let my norm show up. I've decided there is no norm and I'm going to explore what it looks like when I don't play in the norm. And what I can tell you is I've learned so much about myself, so much about other people. And I see how when I don't play in the norm, I believe there is a norm, or I don't even see a norm. I begin to see the possibilities. And I step out of my closet of seeing things in black and white. And I see the full spectrum of color of what can be done when I allow myself, when I give myself the permission to fully be a disruptor and to not see any norms. I become one fucking happy guy. What might you want if you become a disruptor and don't say things in the norm? That's the big question for the week. Have a great weekend, everybody. We will be back in just a few days with another episode of Life Uncloseted, a great interview coming up. I can't wait to share what's going on in the next few weeks. I'm not going to give you a lot of insight, but trust me, you're going to like what's coming. So that's it. Take care, everybody. We will be right back with you in just a few days. Bye-bye.